If you like Company of Heroes, if you like alternative history, if you like games set in the World War era, then you're probably going to love this one because it's World War with mechs. I mean, the premise alone is really amazing. And the reason that I'm recommending this game is that if you're watching this right now, you can probably download it for free on Steam. There is an open beta and you got not 1 single cent to pay. You can just download it, make up your own mind. The open beta seems to have all of the features of the game unlocked. You can play the campaign, you can play the tutorial, and you can even play the multiplayer. So it's a really great experience. I personally enjoy it, and while I don't think that this game is necessarily a 10 out of 10, I do think you will get your money's worth if you decide to buy it. So let's talk a little bit about it because there are some things that I didn't like while other things they have managed to do correctly. If you like Company of Heroes, then this is pretty much the same formula. You have squads rather than individual units, and you can use cover in order to take less damage. You can send your infantry into houses. You can pick up mobile weapons with your infantry. You can build defenses such as lay down barbed wire, build sandbags, or even lay out mines. And then you have the actual mechs. Now, the mechs, they're pretty much like the panzers in a way from Company of Heroes, but I feel like you can do a lot more with them here. There are mechs that are specialized in close combat, and then you have mechs that are specialized versus infantry, mechs that are specialized against other mechs. And I think the mech is the best thing that this game has managed to pin down. You really do feel an impact when they're on the battlefield. You really do feel the need to take immediate action and move your troops around in order to take them down because they're just that dangerous. The story takes place in an alternative 1920. After a great world war has happened, humanity has managed to advance technologically to the point where they now have weapons of such immense destruction, and all of the factions believe that if another war will break out, they are going to be the victors. So the three factions are Polania, Rusviet, and Saxony. Saxony represents the German Empire. They're a faction that has been severely damaged and crippled by the previous war. Polania is the country in the middle, and obviously it refers to Poland. And then Rusviet, kind of a lame name, like they tried to mix Russia with the Soviets, are the bad guys. They're the antagonist in this. By the way, like someone that's kind of interested in the Soviet Union and its history, I'm a little bit annoyed, I guess, by the logo that they chose. It's just a red star with two hammers, and it annoys me for two reasons. Apparently in this game they still have a Tsar, so like why would the communists tolerate the Tsar unless he's just like a puppet, you know, like a figurehead, or maybe like the Tsar is the one that brought communism to Russia, who knows. But the thing that I find interesting is that communists were really big on representation. The hammer was supposed to represent the people working in the factories, and the sickle is supposed to represent the people working in the field. You know, this is just like a pet grievance of mine. It's not something that's really taking away from this game. You know, I just noticed it and I thought I should mention it. But yeah, I played a little bit of the campaign, and you play as Polania. It's kind of interesting, you know. I thought it's going to be, you know, very woke when you start playing as a woman, but it makes sense, and you're going to see it. It's not really that bad. The story is quite compelling, and what I really enjoyed about it is the fact that they treat war from an Eastern European perspective rather than an American perspective. And what I mean by this is like when Americans depict war in a video game, it's something cool. It's something awesome, you know, like Supreme Commander, Red Alert, you know, it's really guns go and patriotism and hoorah. But the way the developers have chosen to portray war is as a human disaster, as a great calamity, as something that makes everyone miserable. And I think this is like really interesting because I haven't played a lot of games that do this. And it's a lot more closer to reality than, let's say play Tiberium Wars, Command and Conquer, or, some of the other games that I played, or StarCraft, for instance. And from what I've seen, there are a lot of things that lack in this game. But it makes up for its strategic depth. And I think like with a couple of patches, they can make this game from a 7 out of 10 all the way to an 8 or a 9. It really depends on the developers, like how much work do they want to put in this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the grievances. Now, one of the main problems seems to be the sound effects. The sound effects for the mechs are really great. Like you actually feel the impact when they fire at something. You actually feel the impact when a mech crushes into another mech, like or when a mech explodes. Like those are really great. The infantry, like some of the weapons also sound really cool. Machine guns, for example, they sound great. The only problem is, and I don't know if I can show it to you here, my processor wouldn't handle me recording an actual video game, but when two armies clash and they go into melee, the sound effects are abysmal. Like you're going to hear soldiers go, it's really poorly acted, and it kind of gets you away from the immersion. Like really, all they need to do is to just rehash that sound. Just remove it. Just remove it altogether, because it's not good. It's really bad. Other than that, the campaign so far seems very compelling. Like I'm already hooked. It keeps that thing where you just want to play one more episode to find out what's going to happen. You just want to keep playing in order to get more of it. It takes place in Polania, and there's this girl who was in a village, and her father apparently was this brilliant professor, and he was studying electricity, which is a completely new invention in this era. So the Rusviets, they want to capture him in order to upgrade their weapons. And the main reason I don't think it's woke, even though you play as a female character, is that at no point is the female character enjoying the fact that she is in war. At no point does she seem like she's overly competent. She just has a sniper rifle and she's good with it. Like, that's the extent of her abilities. And she also seems remorseful whenever she kills an enemy. She goes like, oh, I wish it didn't have to be this way. Or, she has like different voice dialogues that actually shows that she's a human being and, she doesn't like taking the lives of others. And again, like it's really well done. Like you're going to see, she's got also a lot of flaws. She's not like the perfect Merisuit that you would see on the cover art of a Battlefield 5 game. And all the people around her recognizes that she's a woman, which is something that you don't see in games that are made from California. But here, like everyone says, it's like, why is a woman doing here? Like, what's a woman doing here? Like, shouldn't she be back in the village so we can defend her? Like, why is she on the front lines? There's a lot of that. Which, again, like if you're going to make a female character, at least have the world react to that aspect. And the only reason she's there is because her father is being kidnapped and she's trying to help him. Well, whatever. If you don't like this, if you don't really like this type of campaign, then you can also play the multiplayer, which is incredibly well polished. And this is, I think, the game's strongest point. You will find it that it's very competitive and really nice to play. So I fully suggest it. Go on over to Steam, type in Iron Harvest, download the free beta, and again, you don't have to pay anything, and you can see the game for yourself. You can just make up your own decision. I personally like it. I think I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to spend a lot of time playing it, and if it happens that I have time, maybe I'll even play with some of my Patreons and some of my subscribers, providing you guys are from Europe. I'm not going to play with Amerikanskis. I don't like the lag. The connection between Europe and America is dreadful. So, let me know what you think in the comment sections. Again, like I noticed this trend every time you mention that the main character is a woman, people roll their eyes. This is not a game made by California now. I think it's actually one of their strengths. They managed to do it in a good way. So just give it a chance. Just trust me. Trust me on this one. Give it a chance. And then tell me how you ended up finding it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.